It's like I know what I'm doing or something. The fun thing now is that, people see the bags, and then, like, I pull out the stands, and then I pull out the microphones that are, like, in the case. Like, that's what I was saying.
Oh,
it's a game.
You can move the pens that are up your butt.
No.
I just saw that.
No, that is
No.
invigorating.
I'm keeping them there.
No, that's invigorating. But I said the case is always what gets everybody. Like, you open it, it's like foamed in microphones, and they're all shiny because I keep them in there and they never get dirty.
You look like a hotshot.
I look like a hotshot. Meanwhile, this is like the most fly-by-night, like, no production value podcast of all time.
But, at least you have this. How many people are trying to do podcasts with none of this?
I know. I like to take, like, a bit of pride and say, like, I actually have some equipment now.
Well, you have the integrity to actually try for it.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, that's the sweet spot. That's it right here.
You got it?
I got it.
You got it. That means we can start this song, bitch.
What?
Yes. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Otaku Crit Podcast number 10. You're rounding out the double digits. How you feel? You're our 10th customer.
10th customer. What do I get?
What do you get? The joy of my company, and I'll buy pizza later.
I'll take the pizza.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all.
It's PS3 or the mountain bike. You're gonna go for the PS3, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like, what do you need a mountain bike for? So, hello everybody, and that is gonna be the tone of this because any of our conversations go like that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Awesome. So, I am joined on this 10th podcast, Breaking the Double Digits, with my good friend Jen. And we've had a number of nicknames for you. It's been Helsey. It's been just variants of your actual last name.
Basically,
Are you going by a handle these days anymore, or was it?
It's still Helsey at this point. Helsey/Helsey.
Yeah.
The nickname kind of took on its own life, I think, because it started like, I was born in 1987, so my name was Jen. So I had 6 other friends named Jen. So it was pretty much like. You were obligated, like, if you were friends with us and your name was Jen, we're like, okay, you're in the group, you need a nickname. So it started in Hamilton with Helsey, and then it kind of, like, grew out into Grimsby, which is where I met you.
Yep.
And it just became its own entity.
Yep.
Now people think that's my real last name.
I didn't know for 2 years.
I don't have it right now. I could show you. I got a wedding invitation with Helsey on it. Official documentation.
Like, money was spent and it had your assumed name.
Oh God, yeah. No, I'm just gonna go down to the courthouse. That's it.
Yeah, it's okay because in the context of this podcast, there are many people who I only really know by cosplay handles. Like, Vicky Bunny Angel cosplay. Vicky's not her real first name.
And it always throws me every time I see like her real Facebook profile because I have both, and I always have to take that minute to.
Yep.
Like, oh, it's you.
Yeah. And when we like even in person call her Vicky, so it's just it's always been that way.
Yeah.
So it's like the same thing here, but it's also I was thinking the your commissions page, was that ever going to be a cosplay identity thing, or was that just for commissions?
That was mostly just for the commissions.
Yeah.
It was just like Jen is the person.
Yes.
If I want to be douchey about it.
Yeah. You're a theater type. Go for it.
Oh, can I be out there?
Do it. Throw on your theater voice.
Oh, yes. So I can like just break into a musical number.
It is
needs to happen.
It is highly encouraged.
Yes.
If you can somewhat warp the lyrics to be in the context of anime, that would be like extra points.
Improv. See, I didn't sign up for improv. I'm sorry.
Well, you got to learn the power of yes and.
The rule of yes.
And the power of and. It is the Wonder Twins of comedy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think I was actually planning on doing sort of Helsey Cosplay as its own page and make it just about my crap, because I spend so much time kind of designing and doing stuff for other people, and I've talked to you about this.
This is probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, if this is Pat's spillover, right? Because she had the same thing happen.
Yeah. I know. I feel like I'm going through the exact same thing as her right now.
And she pretty much only got onto social media. She's never been a fan of it. Didn't want to be on Facebook. She only got on it for her New Zealand friends who couldn't use Skype anymore for some reason. Yeah.
Like all of New Zealand?
Like apparently it's a service that stopped working there. I don't know if it's still the case or it was just for a while, but
That's
they were saying they were having problems with Skype, and so she couldn't talk to like her cosplay friends in New Zealand, so she made like a Facebook account personally, and then she also has a Facebook page that is very scarce. I think half the content on there is stuff I did for her.
Well, and that's the thing, like, and I know she's on another venue, like she's on cosplay.com. Like
she uses the actual dedicated cosplay sites. Yes, it's always done that.
And can I plug her a little?
Old Patty Pat?
Oh, Patty Pat. Patty
Pat. She was the first podcast, so.
Was she?
She was totally
my
the
God.
first.
Oh, I love Patty Pat.
The first podcast was just her telling like hilarious stories from New Zealand and us like just totally dating ourselves, talking about VHS copies of anime.
Oh my God. And how hard it was to get anime?
Yes. That was like our whole first hour.
Like you couldn't get it, and if you could, it was like some shitty dub that some guy did in his basement, and he was doing like 5 of the voices.
Yeah.
Including the girls.
Yeah. But to that point, even at the professional level, Scott McNeil was usually doing 5 of the voices.
Well, he's never gonna die.
No.
He's there forever.
No, but like I bring this up all the time because I think it's one of the most hilarious things ever. If you're watching an old episode of Beast Wars and it's Rat Trap, Dinobot, Silverbolt, and Waspinator, that's Scott McNeil having a 5-way conversation with himself.
Oh yeah, it's one of those things. Like I love seeing people in the voice booths. I would love to see, especially anime voice actors.
Oh,
because more than any other actor, like they're the ones that are hitting like 6 to 10 different characters in a given show, right?
Yep. And the way you do dubs is really interesting. I've only kind of seen this briefly in like extra features on anime DVDs where you're in the booth and you see they have the show on in front of you because they always have the master from Japan. You're doing the dub, right?
Yeah.
The show's been done, but you're doing the dub over. And what they do is there's actually a scrolling ticker above it with your lines.
Timer.
With your lines. Like be a prompter on there, but also just a timer. And you got to get the words out before they're gone to match the lip flaps. That's how dubbing works.
Yeah.
And I saw like a few good things of these, and your really good voice actors are like able to catch the intonation on the fly. Mm-hmm. And one of the best stories I ever heard about this was from it was the end of Evangelion extras, and Tiffany Grant was talking about working with I want to say it's Aaron Cronenberg, something like that.
Which voice?
He's the voice of Kaji.
Oh, okay.
His name is Aaron, and apparently he was just amazing because he would catch Kaji's intonations on the fly. You know, when like Kaji leans in to be all coy, he would catch that during like the first reading. He would not have to do a second take. He would know to like lean in and be sly, and therefore he was like the hottest voice actor to all the ladies who worked on this because he was that good at things, and he was the voice of Kaji.
That's just natural.
The guy in Ava, all the girls want to bang.
Yeah, natural sexual magnetism.
Yes.
It's just one of those voices, like it could be the ugliest character in the entire series, and you hear that voice with it and that put on, you're just like, yeah.
Yeah, but this is apparently like the best part was Tiffany Grant's telling this story and saying like, I was going all Asuka on him and Matt, who was her husband and the director.
Yeah.
It's like I was going all Asuka on him and Matt just rolled his eyes.
Oh my god.
Kids, listen, watch special features on your DVDs if you have DVDs. I'm guilty of streaming a lot of stuff now too.
The kids don't have DVDs anymore.
Get DVDs or just like hope Netflix starts putting out these special features because that was the gold that was on them.
I know.
Audio commentary is sadly underappreciated.
And if you get it on the right films, it's so worth it. And I'm so guilty. Like, I'm the kid that got the extended version Lord of the Rings.
Of course you did.
And I've watched 3 times over, including the audio commentary. Sometimes it's so worth it.
Yes.
They don't understand.
Totally. And like on anime, it was the best. And the Ava was really good for it because the commentary is hilarious over the show that is the poster for like, let's break your brain.
Depression.
Sure, let's depress you and break your brain. And the audio commentary is hysterical.
It kind of has to be at that point, though. Can you imagine, like, working on that show for so long, like, something in you just tweaks a little bit.
It is, like, it is in many, like, Evangelion is in many ways the diary of a madman, so.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the day I saw that last episode, and I was sitting sewing watching it. I was home alone, and Matt walks in, and he saw the credits roll, and he's like, you watched the last episode, didn't you? Because I was just sitting there in a state of shock going, what?
Congratulations, what?
And I was like, what just happened? Why?
And I made the mistake of, like I will admit I'm a bit of a wuss. Like I don't do horror movies all that much.
Me neither.
I watched End of Evangelion, so like the actual end movie. For some reason, watching it in the dark made it worse.
Why would you even do that to yourself?
I don't know. It was my first time. I didn't know what was going to happen.
But you...
Okay,
no.
I did not know planet-sized rays were going to, like, do mitosis and scream in ecstasy as they impale themselves on copies of the Jesus Lance.
But you got through that whole series, and you're like, no... But the last scene will be okay. Let's shut off the lights.
I expected a slight elevation in the weirdness, and I was given exponential. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I was not prepared, okay?
All right, I'll give you one.
Okay? And now... But see, now I feel like, you know, I made it at a Da Nang. Like, I beat the Viet Cong, and, like, now I'm grizzled, and, like, nothing can surprise me now. I'm a grizzled veteran.
And every once in a while, you just get them flashbacks.
Hey, people will catch me, like, staring off or laughing for no reason. Those are the moments.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
What are you thinking about, Josh? Oh, you don't want to know.
Instrumentality is coming. Did you notice or even like do anything special in the fact that there was Ava Day a week or so ago? It was all about we reached the day like in our time where Evangelion would like the first episode of Evangelion would be starting.
Oh my God, that's true.
It's 2015. Yeah.
Holy crap! I didn't even click.
So that there was a lot of Ava stuff that day, and I've got some like extra Ava obsessed friends. I got one friend who's got 2 tattoos. I've got him and another friend of mine have run the Evangelion panel for like 3 years now at Anime North. So like,
oh, wow.
I know some hardcore Ava people. I was like, I probably could have sat on that panel, but they do their thing and they do it well. And so yeah, there was a lot of good Ava posts coming up that day.
Oh my God! So between that and like the Back to the Future year, like we're pretty much screwed.
I was just about to say it. Like we're like, so that means third Impact this year, and we might not even have hoverboards to show for it.
I feel gypped. I'm just saying.
Like Spielberg like toyed with us, and Anno, well, he's just trolling us like he always does.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. You know, like, let's blank out the audio so we don't know what very important thing he just said, you asshole.
I want my mechs and my flying DeLoreans. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, although you might be getting the mechs. Did you not see that there are these giant robot teams now, like Avengeneer guys, and they're building giant robots, and the American team issued a fight challenge to Japan?
That won't end horribly.
Japan accepted the challenge.
Of course they did.
And they stated, like, you know what this needs? Melee combat. Because it's like, you guys are clearly just doing the super American thing and putting guns on something. Like, we want melee combat. We want to knock you to the ground to destroy you. And it was this most epic video ever, and it just, like, ends with the words, we accept.
Oh. Okay, I don't... Like, we're going to blow ourselves up at some point.
Yeah, but there's going to be an amazing robot fight pay-per-view event before it.
So it'll be worth it. I'll be going down and being like, so worth it.
Yeah. I plan to, like, if that is, like, a pay-per-view thing, I plan on turning off the audio just at the opening to put on the original Gundam theme.
Nice.
The 70s one. The really spunky 70s one.
Well played.
Oh, for sure. Because then I just know, like, not only was art imitating life, or life, life imitating art, it was my art.
It was my art.
We're heading to the world I want.
Where robots explode everything.
Or at least we just have giant robots.
I don't care what happens. Just give me the giant robots.
Yeah, and the way they look, they're closer to like the ones in Full Metal Panic, but that was cool too.
I'll take that.
Yeah, Full Metal Panic was fun.
And Sakura Wars, just like get them all in there.
Yeah, I mean, for actual Gundams, I mean, we got a 1/1 scale model in Akihabara, so that's pretty good.
They did a 1/1?
Yeah, I think it's in Akihabara. There's a 1/1 scale Gundam model. Like,
so I'm going.
So you're going, well, that's Nirvana. Why wouldn't you go there anyway?
Right.
I'm like, I maintain that when I die, my ashes are going to be scattered in various locations, and at the feet of the Gundam in Akihabara is a key one.
As it is meant to be.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
It's. Would you expect anything less from me though?
Not really. No.
No. I'm surprised you didn't see that. That made me so happy to see the giant robot fight thing happening. I'm
surprised you didn't like just email that to me and be like, "It's happening."
It's happening. Oh yeah, there's cool stuff going on right now.
Because you love your mech.
I do love my mech. It's like basically like everybody has that show that brought them in.
Yeah.
Mine was Gundam Wing, so like that set the precedent.
Yeah.
Like some of my earliest memories are like being up way too late. And there were like old episodes of Gundam Wing on, and like I clearly like the earliest memory I can conjure is an episode of Gundam Wing that I saw.
See, that's the thing. Like I watch Gundam Wing and all of that as well, and I'll watch a couple mechs. I watch Evangelion, obviously. Like
which quickly degenerates into something else.
What?
Like that's the selling people on Evangelion is weird. It's like because they see
yeah.
giant robots, but they don't know. Like it's not really about that.
No,
it's not about that.
But I don't know.
So yeah, mech anime is
I could never get myself like into the mech. Like I know people that like seek it out, like they love that sort of stuff, and then unless you get Eva or like one of those shows that really goes beyond it, I find like I'm like, okay, and we're doing another robot fight, and I'm done. See,
I'm to the point where as much as I like was raised on mech shows and they're like very special to me, is for me to get into one now, you have to have a very cool version of the mechs.
It needs to be different.
It needs to be very different. Like I think your three staples are, well, Robotech definitely gets points because it was out so early that they get the prototype credit, I like to say, is because they invented the transforming mech because they were fighter jets that turned into mechs.
Yeah.
And, Gundam was out around the same time, I think. And so, Macross was your original transforming mechs. Gundam was your humanoid mechs.
Yeah.
And this is why Full Metal Panic was really interesting to me because they imagined practical mechs. Theirs were, an old friend of ours basically describes it this way, where he said they were a step up from tanks. They weren't like crazy flying through the air in space things. These guys were like limited by the confines of gravity with like, actual weapons that sort of exist today. Yeah. And then they threw in all the weird Lambda driver stuff where he could defy physics.
But I like that the starting point was if we were to actually do this, what would it be like?
And that's why I thought Full Metal Panic was great, and the fights were really good. But they had a different take on mechs, and that was why that was a cool show for me. And I do have this problem with mech shows now where a lot of them, and I mean like a ton of them, basically copy the Eva formula of a mind-controlled mech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because where else can you go with it? If you don't do that, then it is just a bunch of robots beating each other up.
And it is also like the quickest like plot device of like explaining why a like kid can hop into this thing and make it happen from the get-go.
Oh yeah. He's like, don't worry, I got this.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's done with your mind.
And that's what I mean. Like, how many different ways can you go?
Whereas
that sort of premise?
At least in original Gundam, there was at least the preamble to the big like the first fight is Amuro Ray, the first Gundam pilot, basically reading the manual to that Gundam, not knowing it was the manual to the Gundam. He's reading like circuit board connections and stuff because he's a young engineer, and then he gets into the thing and like opens the manual there and realizes it's the same one he like stole from his dad and was reading.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I got this.
Yeah. It's such a dude thing. Sorry, I hate to go there. No, I don't want to go there, but it's kind of a dude thing.
I'm not taking offense. It's a dude thing. It's like we need giant mechanical shit that fights each other. Yeah, it is totally a shonen thing.
Explosions.
Yes. And like, it's definitely one of those shonen staples.
I don't mind shonen, but like you walked in, I was watching Fairy Tail. Like if I'm doing shonen, like give me dragons.
Yep. Oh, Fairy Tail. We're enjoying we're bonding over Fairy Tail.
We are.
Now. It's like from the outside, it's either cute or annoying, and I'm gonna go with cute because we're adorable.
We are adorable,
right? And so I'm you need to get caught up though, don't you? You haven't seen the Grand Magic Games yet.
No, I haven't. I am because I just got to Tenro Island. That's because I kind of I skimmed through it the first time, and now I'm going back and reacquainting myself. Yeah. So that's where I am again now.
You're in a good arc though right now.
Oh, it's so good.
There's really good fights in that
and arc. Just like I swear to God, like I blasted through Daedalus in like a day and a half, and just like my heart was ripped out.
Yeah, Daedalus was so weird. It seems like filler, but it's not. But it's not. Because like when all is said and done, it's like left people and established new characters who are now around.
And made like crazy arcs and questions with particular wizards.
Yeah.
Who seem to be two different people at once.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
Yeah.
I feel like this is like 3 years old, so I don't need to say no spoilers anymore. But
yeah. Oh, you're totally past the limit.
I know.
The Jell-Al Mystagon thing. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Which was, I thought it was a little bit weak tea, but I'll go with it.
Oh no, it's total weak tea. Like just. Give me an answer. I don't care.
But you know what my biggest payoff for that whole arc was? That Gajiel got his cat.
Right? And oh my God, that transformation as they were going into the Tenro arc. Like, but the same voice. The same voice.
Yeah,
in a tiny little cat.
Yep. That Lily still has that old knight's voice. Well,
I just picture like this little tiny head going, "Oh, I've seen some shit." Oh.
I enjoyed the part where they're at the guild. It's the start of the arc before they leave for the island, and Lily is in his battle form, and he's practicing with Urza because Urza's like got a sparring partner now. She's happy about that, and Gajiel comes in and goes, "Isn't my cat the best cat?" Suck it.
I love that they brought it in because like I was watching the Daedalus arc, and I remembered like. Oh my God, like 30 episodes ago, Gajiel's like, everyone else has a cat, why don't I have a cat?
It was a giant, I really feel like that whole arc was to give Gajiel a cat.
I know, like I love that they brought it back around. So silly.
Yeah, and it's, they don't explain, I don't know if you've met the two characters. Have you met Sting and Rogue yet?
No.
No, okay, that's basically the, when you get into the Grand Magic Games arc after Tenrojima, we meet two new Dragon Slayers.
Okay.
Named Sting and Rogue. And they also have Extia companions.
Oh.
By pure happenstance. They don't explain, like, is there a thing where the Extia are drawn to Dragon Slayers? They don't really address it, but it's like, oh, they've got cat buddies too.
That's how can they not explain that after that whole freaking thing that just happened?
I think it's just like it literally feels like a almost fan servicey plot device that Dragon Slayers have cute cat companions.
After the whole, I don't know how this possibly happened that you Dragon Slayers ended up with cats.
Yep.
What crazy happenstance.
And also, I realize, our main cast is all in this one guild, but now that guild is becoming stacked with Dragon Slayers.
Oh, I just love the whole premise of, I just defeated you, for 4 episodes worth of battle, but you're cool now. Come to my guild. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, with, that whole arc where the Phantom Lord messes up their guild, and then they take Julia and Gajiel into the guild.
Every freaking arc, they end up taking evil people, they bring back Evergreen.
Yeah, they're like
Freed and all of them.
Fairy Tail is the rehab of bad wizards.
It is.
They take bad wizards and make them realize that all of their decisions were wrong because, well, I beat you in a fight, so clearly I'm doing it right.
Fairy Tail is Australia.
Yeah.
Sorry, I love you, Australia. I didn't mean it like that, but I kind of did.
Your origins,
History people.
History. Although I seriously doubt the criminals sent to Australia really lamented their existence being in a tropical paradise.
With everything being poisonous though.
This is true. The fruit's delicious, but snake.
They didn't even need jail. They just sent them off into the outback. Be like, you'll die on your own. It's fine.
All right. Is our Fairy Tale's rehab metaphor really falling apart here?
Yeah, I think it's done.
Okay.
It's over.
Okay. All right. Let's just say there's a lot of weird questions about that show.
I know. But are you cosplaying Fairy Tale? We've talked about this.
I'm in a weird spot with my cosplay right now. Is that I still love doing it, But one, I think I need to be in a group to kind of have the fun, because I seem to keep winding up in these circumstances where I'm like the only person who actually committed to cosplaying from a show.
Oh, like you get a whole group
like
together?
Like groups happen and then it doesn't happen. That happened at Anime North this year, you know.
That sucks.
You know, things happen and people can't make costumes, you know, lack of funds and stuff. So we were supposed to do a Ruby group that didn't happen, so I was the only one who had my Ruby costume. And it was fine, and it was also... really could only wear it for a day. It was hot. But then I also have, you know, I have my, you know, I'm filming.
Yeah.
So, like, sometimes the costume isn't necessarily, you know, doing me any favors while I'm, like, holding cameras and rigs and stuff.
That's
and so
true.
my solution was going to be, I'm going to make, like, cosplays of photographer characters so that it makes sense for me to be holding a camera.
That would be perfect.
You said everybody's giving the same reaction, and I said the main one I thought would be great would be Stoner from Rekka 7.
Nice.
Because it's just that green hoodie and the and the beret.
Oh my god, that's such a cute gag. I love that. You should start doing that.
That was gonna be my thing. Whereas like if I don't want to go all out, if it's like a convention where I'm working, air quotes, where I'm working,
it's work.
I thought that would be the thing. But if I'm like if I was asked to be in a group and really commit to it, and I think, you know, I might be in a position to maybe do it one day, because I do have people who've kind of joined me on the channel now who have cameras and a bit of experience, and I thought maybe, you know,
you can pass the torch
if
a
they
little.
if they want to take a day of the filming, maybe that'll be my cosplay day. And I would love to there are a ton of characters from Fairy Tail I would love to cosplay. Oh my god. Like I said,
and versions and I've made it my goal now to do every single version of Kana.
Yes, and
every version.
When you told me this, like, I don't know if it could have been conveyed through the text I sent just how happy I was.
I got the sense.
Yes, it was like, yes, and then it spilled over to Pat, who had a reason to be Lucy. Like she felt like she couldn't do it unless somebody else came on, I guess.
Well, I guess...
Although it's Pat, she would have done it anyway.
She would have done it anyways, but I feel like Lucy is one of those characters. You take her away from a really distinct aesthetic, like a Natsu or a...
Yeah.
And she's just a blonde girl.
And she's got a billion outfits.
And she has a billion outfits, and her insignia is a small little thing on her hand, unless you're looking for it.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand.
So, like, the fact that there was a potential group happening, Pat got so excited, and I think she's, like... She's got so many versions of Lucy in the works now, and you know.
I'm not doing the bathing suit.
No, it's okay. She's gonna do that, and it wasn't even the fact that it was a bathing suit. She loved the backpack came with it, that pink backpack.
Okay, yeah, that was cute.
That's what she loved about it. It wasn't about the bathing suit; it was about the backpack. Because like, oh my god, that means I get a backpack. Like she's thinking like, I can still do that, but be able to carry stuff. That was her thinking on it.
I love Pat logic and. You know, to go back to Pat, she knows I love her, but the first time I cosplayed with her, so Pat and I have been cosplaying.
Oh, is this the Legend of Mana?
Before that.
Oh my god, I need to hear this.
Before, so I started cosplaying when
I'm hearing this for the first time.
When I think I started cosplaying when I was 15. I think I met Pat around the time I was like 17, 18.
Right.
It was the first time I was going to a convention. My friend introduced us, and she went as Naga. From Slayers, and that's the very first time I met her in a cosplay situation. And from then on, she just always found ways, and they were always amazing characters, and there was always thousands of other things going on that were really impressive, but she always found a way not to wear pants, and it just became this thing with Pat.
See now I'm like having the mind shatter and going, Rosso, no pants. Naga, no pants.
Go back to all of she's wearing pants now. Love you, Pat.
Yes.
She started wearing pants.
It's her I think it's bleeding over from the fact that you know, she does actual martial arts now and understands what practical combat wear is.
Wouldn't it be more practical just not to have pants? Like, get nothing in your way. That's not true at all.
You know, I'm just thinking, you know, and I don't know if this is just guy brain here, but like front and back wedgie. Hello.
Yeah.
Like that's what a lot of like
camel toe for days. Yeah.
But no. So what was the first cosplay you did with Pat?
The first one we did as a group. I believe, and this was awful, and she was good. I was awful. I didn't know how to sew properly at that point, whatever. But we did Final Fantasy IX.
Right.
So she was Zidane, and I went as Blank.
Yeah.
And mine was god awful. I still have pictures, but I don't really show them to people anymore.
It's like Fat Josh. I only say
it's like Fat Josh.
If people don't believe me, I gotta show it.
Like they're there on the internet, but I don't bring them up to people's attention anymore.
Okay.
They're there. But...
All right. Okay. There's but you need it's a private link. You need a password to even see it.
I just keep it there so I can look at it and be like, never again.
Never again.
But yeah, that's the first time I cosplayed in a group, I think.
Yeah, we had see the time I met you, and this is interesting. I was thinking about this and I wanted to bring it up. We bonded first over Final Fantasy.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, you did. And I think it's really funny that I'm having this podcast with you shortly after they announced that they're going to be doing the HD remake of Final Fantasy 7. Excited?
I'm so excited.
Excited. Okay. So, and which I laughed when I saw that trailer because I was like, well, that's only 10 years late. Because they were basically saying they were going to do that after Advent Children exploded.
Well, yeah, they were like, and we're on it, and it's going to be happening in the next few... No, nothing.
No. This is what I've learned of Square Enix, and especially with Final Fantasy VII properties, because Advent Children took forever to make.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, you know what? This is just Square Enix timeline. They're just being them. And
well, they also blew all their money on Spirits Within, but that's another story.
Oh, God. You know what the biggest payoff of Spirits Within was? The extra on the DVD where you had all the models do the Thriller dance. Like the 3D models. They had them do the Thriller dance. That was the best part of that whole movie.
I was going to say Alec Baldwin, but that's just for me.
Yeah. Okay. You a Baldwin fan, yeah?
Just the one.
It's okay.
Just the successful one.
I've got a man crush on Ed Norton, so it's all good. It's mostly because of Kingdom of Heaven. Not Fight Club. Not like the big ones. It was Kingdom of Heaven that got me.
No, he's a little bitch in Fight Club.
Yeah. Yeah. It was not like American History X, not like his big breakout ones. It was Kingdom of Heaven because he made you fall in love with him when you could only see his eyes.
He's got that stare down.
Because he plays the Leper King, right? So he has a mask on.
Yeah.
And you can only hear his voice and see his eyes. I'm like, I don't care for the most twisted, wretched thing. I love you.
That's a lot about you. You know that, right? Yeah, just get me a Leper King.
And I have this thing about loving the wretched creatures. Like, my favorite Greek god is Hephaestus.
Of course it is.
Right? And it was mostly because he was the god who actually did things. All the others are lounging about, turning into swans and trying to bang humans. Hephaestus is at work in the forge, getting things done.
He's getting stuff done
to the detriment of his very weird marriage.
Right? I was going to say, he gets stuff done because essentially he's a doormat.
Yes.
He's like, oh, honey, no, you go bang those humans. I'll just be here making swords. You go have fun.
I think it feels like it was like an arranged marriage because the story goes that Hera made him say the line that won Aphrodite over. So he's like, I didn't even want this. You go right ahead. I am happy here.
Wait, I just did what? We just got married?
It was I married it feels like, you married the woman your mother wanted you to marry to shut her up.
Then be like, God, okay, Mom.
That was the Hephaestus Aphrodite thing.
It's trophy wife.
Yes.
Whatever.
And he doesn't care. I think that's it. It's not that he's a doormat. I think he literally doesn't care and just got it out of the way to make his mom happy and shut her up.
Makes sense. That's a good way to look at it, actually.
Yeah.
Because I always saw him as the guy you always go to. You never talk to him until you need something.
Yeah.
You go down to the smith and he's down there and he's like, oh, I haven't seen you in 10 years. And you're like, yeah, I really need a shield. Could you hook me up with that?
Mm-hmm. And that's the occasional person. That's when Poseidon or somebody comes by. He's like, oh, I haven't seen you in a while. If it's Ares, he's like, what the fuck do you want? Every day with this.
Again?
Greek mythology jokes, people. We could do this forever.
Nerds.
I do have an anime tie-in here, though.
Go for it.
They did make Hephaestus cool in a very recent show.
Which one?
Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?
What is this show?
It is.
I've heard of this.
I've been talking about this for the past 4 podcasts. I love, actually, even longer maybe. It is this show that's kind of a. The title's very misleading. It really that title says full-on romantic comedy.
Yeah.
It's more of a fantasy action show.
Okay.
And I saw you had Crunchyroll up, so you can
It's
watch
on
it. It's
Crunchyroll?
on Crunchyroll.
Yes.
It's they did like a weird 13 episode season, but it's totally worth watching.
That's okay.
Where it's about basically it's a world where like in the middle of this city there's a labyrinth and it's a like TARDIS thing, like it's bigger on the inside. Like you can see the tower, but on the inside it's like a full world. And going into there, killing monsters, collecting magic stones, and then cashing them in is a way of life.
Okay.
Like it's legit. Like you can go in there and get killed. It's not a game. This is real. And so there are people called adventurers that's how they make their living.
Okay.
And so these adventurers are organized into guilds that are under the protection of various gods who have come to Earth. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of the Greek ones. Actually, there's a few Norse ones. Loki's a big one. There's a couple of Greek ones. Ganesh was in there.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was cool. They pulled from multiple pantheons, but Hephaestus is in there, and like naturally, her guild is Guild of Craftsmen.
Yeah.
But they gender flipped it. It's Hephaestus is a woman.
I was gonna say, you said she.
Yes, they gender flipped Hephaestus to be a woman. So she's like a tall, like not wretched looking woman, but she is missing an eye. She's got like an eye patch.
Oh, okay.
And like very like dresses like more masculinely, but and it was I think it's done like a cool job. I love anything that like tries to mash pantheons.
I
used to write stories about that because I was always fascinated with it. So
like fanfic, like old school.
No, I wrote
history fanfic.
No, there were more. There were originals.
Nice.
There was one original story that like Pat knows about, and like, why did you ever work on that? Like, I don't know.
Do you still have it? Can I read it?
I don't think so. It was this weird kind of story where it was about gods were being reincarnated on Earth, and there was like multiple pantheons, and they were all they basically through their powers, but also through like their being gods, they are smarter than humans, and like basically every attribute about them is greater than humans, and through that they're often occupying positions of power.
Okay.
And it's like they're born and then they steadily regain their god memories and gifts as they go on. And then my main character had a thing where he's getting his powers but not his memories.
That's interesting. Why didn't you keep working on that?
I don't know. I don't have confidence in my writing.
Oh.
I could re-examine it.
I think you should.
I could come back to it. And I remember that the main guy, he knew he was Norse. That was it, because he had powers like he could summon the dragon Fafnir. So he knew he had ties to Norse.
Yeah.
But he didn't know which one he was. And, it's all about, he would have fleeting visions about what he might be, He's, like, seeing glimpses of arms getting cut off. Like, oh, maybe I'm Tyr. And then he'd see something else that was like, oh, no, maybe I'm this one. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. It was... And, again, it was also, like, when I write stories like that, I have a tendency to base characters off of people I know.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm so guilty of that.
Yeah.
I think everybody does that, though.
Yeah. And then, on top of it, like, I think a lot of it has to do with, like, it just ends up being anime fan fiction before I, like, get, like, more than 2 chapters in.
I don't know. That one sounds pretty in-depth.
Yeah. Is that I've always, like, loved, like, the idea of, like, multiple pantheons existing in one world.
Well, it's a really cool idea, too, because, I mean, if you want to go in the social context or whatever, just, like, looking at the idea of religions... massing together and not being separated, blah blah blah, theology.
Yeah,
it's a really cool idea.
Yeah, it was like I was always fascinated by the idea of like it's either one or all of them, and this was exploring that it's all of them.
I don't know. I think that has some merit.
If anybody's listening and you think that sounds interesting, give me feedback. Maybe I'll start writing it again.
Make him write.
Yes.
Make him write.
Okay. I'll keep that on file. But it was also, I was very much like the main guy had to have summons. I was really into that. But it's like I don't even know where this is going, but one of his powers is going to be summons because that's a thing I love.
Because summons are awesome.
Like, come on, was that not the biggest payoff of playing Final Fantasy X when you got the big summons?
Oh my god, yeah.
Right?
And I like that one too because, I mean, you had the summons going through and... they became like a big thing in FF9, but then they really rounded it out and made it a journey in 10, which I liked.
I thought that's why, in my opinion, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me. Some people I know are hardcore 8 and 9 fans. I think the best ones are 7 and 10. In terms of story and like a world that I thought really stood on its own and was crafted well. So, like, and 10 was, I think I keep periodically coming back to 13. Before I got stuck on a boss that I never got past, and then when I came back to it, a couple years later, got past that boss and got to like a comfortable point in the game, and then just dropped it.
I'm so bad for that.
Yeah. And it was not like I lost momentum, or like I guess I got distracted with life, as that tends to do.
It happens.
And
we're adults now.
And there must be something to 13 that I haven't really realized yet, because it got 3 spin-off games. Like, it got like 3.
Really?
It got like 3 sequels.
I haven't even played it yet, because I played 12 and was like,
Yeah.
Wasn't terribly impressed by it, and then the thought of going to 13 was just,
And 13's a big like change in gameplay mechanic too.
Again?
Yeah. It's a lot of like, you quickly build chains of commands and then they're executed. You're not doing turn-based. It's very fast-paced. And it's all about switching behaviors on the fly.
See, okay, here's my problem.
Yeah.
This is why I love playing Final Fantasy and all those old school RPGs.
Yeah.
Because anybody that has played video games with me before knows I have awful reflexes.
So, like, taking your time on your turn is very handy.
Yeah, awful hand-eye coordination. If something jumps out at me, I'm flipping out and throwing the controller because I can't... Yeah. Like, it's in my brain, but I can't make my hands do it.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I can't do FPSs. I can't do any of that.
FPSs, like, I was unable to play them until, like, within the past couple years, and it bothered my eyes for some reason.
Well, there's so much happening.
And basically what happened was Skyrim trained me to do it, because you play it in first person. Well, you can switch to third, but you play it in first person, but I did it with swords. So I got used to the first person view, but through melee. And then, like, you can do archery, and then basically when you're doing archery, you're playing a first person shooter.
Yeah,
and so, and then after that, I was able to, like, get into Borderlands and...
See, maybe I should try doing that, because I'm the same way. Like, as long as I have a sword in a real-world environment, I'm fine. As long as I can hack and slash at a thing, I'm cool.
Skyrim is, like, amazing first-person trainer.
Okay, I'm going to try it, because we have it.
Try it, totally. And, like, play like a dual wielder or sword and shield, and...
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to try it.
That is how I, like, trained myself to be able to play first-person shooters.
Yeah. See, I just don't like playing with other people, because then other people are like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know anymore. Stop yelling at me.
Skyrim will just consume your life, because it's like the biggest sandbox game ever, and you can just wander for hours. Like, the main quest line is like 1% of the game.
Well, yeah, like if you follow the quest right through, you can be done it in like a day or two, right?
Easily.
See, I'm not like, I'm so the person, like, if I go into a town and there are people to talk to, I'm talking to every freaking person there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm that guy.
Oh, yeah. Totally. And that was, I've been playing on Ni no Kuni, which was...
Which one is that?
It's this JRPG that's exclusive to the PS3, and it is, like, legitimately, it is playing a Studio Ghibli movie.
What? Oh my god, yes, I have heard about this one.
Yes. It is, and like the gameplay mechanic, you need some adjusting to it because it's not completely turn-based. The way I explain Ni no Kuni is it's playing Final Fantasy and Pokemon at the same time.
What?
Because like you can play, so it's all about magic.
Yeah.
So the main character is a wizard, a young boy who's whisked to this magical world, and he's a wizard in training. Like as you play through it, you gain spells and whatnot. So you can play as just that.
Yeah.
And, cast spells and do your damage that way. But a big component is you have what are called familiars, which are these creatures that you train and raise, or you can fight with them. So you throw out a familiar instead to do your fighting.
Okay.
And it's like, it's pretty fluid and quick, but it's like, but at the same time, the familiars level up, they metamorphose, so they evolve. It's Pokemon style, straight up. Yeah. The transformations aren't as dramatic as I would have liked. It's more like they change in color and pattern, not like they get way bigger or anything.
Aww.
That was like, if they do a sequel, that's what I want for the sequel. But it's
big evolutions.
Yeah, like I want my little cute like warrior stuffed plushie thing to turn into a full-on knight by the end.
Yeah.
That's what I want, especially because that kind of happens in a boss battle, and I felt ripped off that you couldn't.
Like
do
the boss could do it, and you couldn't?
He summons his familiar, and it's a full-on 8-foot knight.
Lame.
Yeah, I was like, why can't I do that?
And you threw out your fuzzy little familiar, and you're like, go get him.
No joke. Like it takes up like say like your familiar is like 1/10 of the screen, and his familiar is like 8/10 of the screen, and somehow you're winning. What?
How?
But no, the story is fantastic. It's like that thing where it's extremely kid friendly, but you don't even notice because the emotions are played so well.
Okay, good.
And it's you're playing a Studio Ghibli movie. The animated scenes are actually done by Studio Ghibli.
Well, Studio Ghibli is like deceptively adult.
Yes.
In the kind of stuff they do.
And that's this game too.
Yeah.
Like they managed to there's adult content in there, but it's just not presented in like the extremely adult way. Like, it's very PG in terms of the language. There's no blood or anything like that. But like
the emotional stuff that they do, though.
The villains are extremely sinister.
Yeah.
Like your main villain through most of it is a guy called the Dark Djinn.
Okay.
His name's Shadar, and his just in his appearance, like he's clearly old because of his voice. You don't see his face, but you see hair coming out of his hood, and he's all hunched over and withered, and he's got these big starts at his neck and comes up into these big horns, and it's a weird thing where his eloquence makes him creepy.
Oh, he's very well spoken.
Yes. It's kind of
that's worse.
It's like kind of like Saruman in Lord of the Rings, where he's extremely charismatic and eloquent, and that's part of his power. Shadar kind of has that too. It's a great villain, and the whole game is playing an anime.
That's so cool.
You got a PS3 here?
I do have a PS3.
I'll lend it to you. You need to experience this.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, I want everybody to play that game. It is fantastic, and you care about all of the characters. You have Oliver, who is his whole thing is he's going to be the savior because he's pure-hearted. Yeah, and that translates to he's super nice. He's very gullible, but he's super nice because it's a kid in a new world. And then you have Esther, who's kind of the support character, who's really nice to Oliver, but then she's super sassy to the roguish character because she finds him abrasive, so she's a little two-faced, but in a cute way.
Okay.
But then your roguish character it's a little weird because he's an full-grown adult traveling with 2 children.
And nobody's that's a little weird.
It's a little weird in that sense, but it's the context of the game doesn't make you think it's weird.
Yeah.
It's
just a whimsical adventure.
It's a whimsical adventure. That's true. And the environments are beautiful. The music's done by Joshy. Oh. So it's full on Studio Ghibli. It's
love it.
And I the reason I thought of this, we're talking about Skyrim and having to do everything, is there are tons of side quests in this. They're errands where you help people, and you literally the payoff is you get things you have a card and it's merit stamps for good deeds. It's that cutesy.
Oh my god.
But filling up those merit cards lets you get passive abilities, so it's totally worth it to do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then the fun thing is bounty hunts, which is a way to get lots of merit stamps from doing bounty hunts where you go and fight a big creature. See,
that makes sense.
And you get gear and stuff for doing that. But it is beautiful, and this game's I think a couple years old now, and it's still the game I'm gonna recommend to anybody who says I need a game to play. And have you seen Ni no Kuni yet?
No, I remember it first came out, and a couple of my friends did actually get it as soon as you said it was Ghibli.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were raving about it too. So.
Oh, and there's when you get to Shadar's castle, it's called Nevermore. It is the most Poe reference. I got a theater type here, so of course she goes nuts for that.
I'm a theater and lit nerd. I can't even help it.
So yeah, Shadar's stronghold is Nevermore Castle.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's this amazing level where it's the castle. There's a great animated scene for when you come into it, and it's all it's got cracks in the castle that are not but where glow comes through, and then it totally has the fourth dimension stairs where all of a sudden you're walking upside down on the stairs.
What?
And you do that whole thing.
That's creepy. Labyrinth.
Yes, but where you're walking directly up the wall, and then you're upside down, and it is and just beautiful. The whole game is just it's playing an anime.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might need to borrow it from.
Oh, you're definitely getting it from me because I need to talk to you about this, and hopefully you like find a character that you like, and I can totally get that big cosplay group together that I've been wanting to do for so long.
Oh yeah, I'm down. I haven't done a cosplay group in so long.
And it's like, yeah, and it's a lot of cool wizard robes.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's why I like it. But I look good in robes, okay? I'm tall and lanky. Robes.
Oh, yeah.
I am a hanger for robes.
You are.
Right?
You look very imposing with a robe on.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever seen me dressed as Castor from 07 Ghost? Do you remember that one? It looks like the priest outfit.
Yes.
Was that not my look?
That was so your look.
Right?
Yeah.
All those robes.
But that's good. Like, that's cool that you found a thing in cosplay that you like going to.
Yeah.
That sounds weird, but,
yeah.
You know, some people have certain looks that look awesome on them. I'm
Yeah.
still trying to find mine. Like...
Yeah. You're in a transitional phase, though. Because,
I am.
Like, what would have been your thing before might not necessarily be that now.
What was my thing was Ursula, and now I'm cosplaying Kana. So... yeah, a bit of a transition.
Yeah. Which I'm like... again, I'm super excited for Kana. When you told me that you were doing that, I was like...
You squeed like a little fanboy.
I squeed.
Well, I remember I'm trying to describe her to people. I'm like, fairy tale, and I'm like, she's not one of the main characters.
Which is also... That was the main thing. The fact that you went for secondary character.
Well, you know me. I always go for the secondary character.
And that's my thing.
And that's not even on purpose. That's just... I love the goofy... sidekick. I love the villains. Like I like those people. And
sorry, you said goofy sidekick and reminded me of the Powerline costume you made me.
Powerline. See, I see goofy sidekick, and I first realized that that's what I do when I did Zell.
Yeah.
And then I went back, and I was like, I always do these guys, like these hyperactive or sassy. People.
Yeah.
And so I went to Kana, and like I'm like, oh, there's this sassy bitch. She's just like throwing one-liners out and drinking straight from the keg.
That was my thing.
I think she's my girl.
That is how I describe her. Oh, Kana is the cool chick who like just opens the cask and drinks from that.
I'm pretty sure.
But
I was
when
telling people
evening
she's
falls,
my spirit animal.
But when evening falls, she switches to the wine because she's a lady.
Oh yeah, she is a lady.
I love it when they're like, things have calmed down after a brawl, and that's the sign that things have calmed down because she switched from beer to wine.
Yeah. Or like when every once in a while she has sake and you're like, oh, okay, she's relaxing now.
Yes. She doesn't necessarily convey her emotions through words, but through her choice of drink.
That's how you know how she's dealing with life. Actually, Sake was the one, because I just finished the episode again. Sake was the one before she got hammed and fell asleep in the snow. So apparently when stuff's really going wrong for her,
she's having sake. She's having an emotional crisis, yeah.
When she's in a glass case of emotion, it's with a bottle of sake.
You know, just seeing her like out a window.
Case of emotion.
Will somebody get Kana some coffee? She is messed up right now.
Yes. Love it. So yeah, I need to find a way to basically have liquor bottles with me at the convention without getting pulled aside.
My first idea was I don't know if I'm going to be doing like full-on armor costumes anytime too. I don't know if I have the skill for it, but I was pretty happy with how my shield that I made turned out. So I think making props out of Warbler and other things might be up my alley. So I thought I could make you like a small cask out of Warbler. It would be like...
You would be my favorite.
That was my first thought. And like do it with foam and like you can cut it in bands like that.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't even need like... It wouldn't be like wrapped in it. You might just use the strips to create the...
Oh, you could just do it as a frame.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I thought that, and it would still be pretty light that way too.
Yeah.
So that was my idea for your cask.
How much money do you need?
I'll figure that out.
Okay.
That might be a thing to do together too. That stuff's fun to play with.
Yeah.
Too.
No, Warbler is something I want to actually, I'm thinking of going to a couple panels and checking it out because I really want to start getting into armor work. Yeah.
It's miracle material. It's expensive is the problem.
Well, yeah, like obviously I would start small. I'd be like, well, I need a sword or I need a shield.
Like you start with a bracelet or something, right? But that stuff is like you heat it up with a heat gun and then mold it.
How much time do you have to mold it before it sets again?
Infinite, because if you screw up, you can just reheat it. It's not like Wonderflex where it sets. You heat it up and go.
See that's why I never got Wonderflex because I was afraid of that.
Warbler doesn't do that. Warbler you can just reheat and reshape.
I'm the kind of person who paints with acrylics because I'm like, well, I screwed that up. I can just paint right over that again.
No. Warbler is the acrylic of thermoplastics. You just reheat it and reshape it again. Yeah. And the whole great thing about it is you can keep all the scraps and then like melt them together if you want to use them for other things. You're like, it's a thing that you don't waste any of because you can find a use for it.
Oh my god, I love it.
It's like it you know, it's a little, you know, Warbler and armor, like we've talked about this before in this podcast, where we think they were kind of cosplay fads, and armor is huge right now simply for the reason that the easy to work with materials are now readily available.
Yeah.
And there's also multiple techniques and stuff. A lot of people like Avafoam. And a lot of people like Warbler. And the problem, not the problem, but the great thing about Warbler is you can be a beginner and learn how to use it really easy, because it's that you literally need a pair of scissors and a heat gun to make it work.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a different mentality about cosplay now. Like, I remember, like I said, I started when I was about 15.
Yeah.
So, God, however long that was now, 13 years ago. That's terrifying.
Like I was saying, I don't know if it's 15 yet, but I've been almost 15 Anime Norths in a row.
Yeah, I had a pretty good track record there for a while. Yeah. Fan X, I'm like every year.
Yeah.
But like I remember I did a really bad Eris costume, and I went to Valley Village and I modified a dress and I showed up and it was fine. There were people that were cosplaying that were obviously way better than me, but I showed up in what is now this crappy cosplay. But people were still taking my picture and like saying stuff to me. Like, there's this whole different mentality now. Like, you have to kind of run out of the gate. Like, there's so much critique for cosplay now. Like you can't be that beginner anymore. Like, you need to be a beginner and instantly kind of know what you're doing.
It's like I'm gonna make a weird metaphor here. Is that you're going to be Prince, who puts all of those costumes in the vault until he finds that one thing. Because apparently Prince does that with music videos. Apparently he's got like 5 full albums that have never seen the light of day that he's put in the vault.
I believe it. Like,
because you know, he's super eccentric and weird.
Yeah.
Right? And apparently, like full on production music videos with costumes and everything. This is a Kevin Smith story, so it's very.
I love Kevin Smith.
If watch the Evening with DVDs, they're amazing.
Oh yeah, we have them.
They're amazing, and he tells this one story about.
Oh,
Prince.
where he worked with Prince or whatever. Yes,
he tells
I remember this story.
For some reason, it reminded me of that. It's almost like you have to do your first 5 cosplays privately and put them in the vault before you're allowed to go public with your really good one.
Yeah,
it's kind of like almost like what you're saying.
And like, you know, like I went on the commissions for a while. I didn't really do anything for myself. So now I want to go back into it for myself. And the concept is actually kind of terrifying to me. Which is,
and I'm going to say, like, you know, that's how it feels. But remember, that's BS mentality that's created by other people. It's cosplay. It's for fun.
Well, that's how I am. I'm like, I created a crappy cosplay. Like, I don't care. But, you know, you want to be able to show up and enjoy it and not have that other... you know, person wearing the same costume across the room being like, oh, I'm wearing that better. Like, it never used to be like that.
I had that at Anime North where there were 2 other Jeans who were clearly better than me.
But were you happy and did you have a good time?
You see, the way I am, I'm going to own it, where I'm just going to, like, I see the guy who's dressed as me, but he's dressed better, and what do I say? I act like I'm Jean. Fall back on the character, because what would Jean do if he sees himself? Looking good, buddy.
Yeah.
That's what I said to other Jeans. Looking good.
And, you know, theater kid... go in there a little bit, but if you don't know the character well enough and you can't act to the character, it doesn't matter if you look amazing. If you're supposed to be a scary villain and somebody interacts with you as the villain and you can't hold up to that, what's the point?
Yeah, people forget that there was like almost an acting component to cosplay when it first came up.
That's what it was.
It was half like costume making skill and half acting almost.
And when people started going to conventions and doing these costumes, it was all about the masquerade and the presentation and. You know, and I'm not going to begrudge people that just want to dress up and go, but at the same time, you know, you got to look at both sides of it.
Well, that's the origins of it, right? It was costume play. The play aspect is you were really going to play make-believe and be that character.
Yeah.
And if the day comes where I get to be Shadar from Ni no Kuni, you bet I'm going to talk in this low voice. It's almost Dr. It's almost Dr. Claw.
Yeah.
It's almost Dr. Claw.
Next time, gadgets. Next time.
I love you so much.
I love you too. That's a cosplay I need to do. We should do an Inspector Gadget group.
Oh my goodness. I thought
yes.
I think before that, you know, I think Fairy Tail's gonna be the first one because we're in the mentality, but we have so much Disney stuff to do together because how much have we bonded over that?
Oh, okay. So
I maintain that Disney is basically like the otaku starter food.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's the light version before you're ready to commit.
Mm-hmm. And I remember, and again, this was when we were kind of just starting. We knew each other, but we were just kind of starting to get to know each other. Do you remember
when we finish this, I'm going to tell the story about when I fell in love with you.
Aw. Do you remember Black Box Karaoke? We went during Fan Expo one year or something.
And you rocked some Shakira?
I really did.
Yes.
But on the way there, somebody brought up Hercules, and I started singing in the middle of the street in Koreatown, because that's what I do. And you knew all the words, and you sang it, and you were being just as sassy as I was, and I was like, I like this guy.
Were we doing the muses? Is that why? Were we being like...
Yeah, we were being the muses.
Honey, you mean Hercules.
Hercules. 0 to hero, just like that. Yeah, and you knew everything, and I was like, I love this guy.
I think this might also be like... I've been having this... I find it funny more than anything, but... There's been multiple cases, and it's kind of funny. It revolves around our one friend. It happens with our friend Heather, where it's been like friends of hers, and most recently her mother, who the first encounter with me, I'll kind of like be leaving the room or whatever, and they ask, "Is he gay?"
Oh, you've told me about this.
Yeah, and I think the musicals are a big part of that. And like gay people,
I guess
gays. I love you. This isn't a homophobic thing. I love you so much, but I am a boring heterosexual male, and
I wouldn't say boring.
Boring, but apparently I'm giving off the gay vibe.
It's because you like to sing in the middle of the street, and there's something wrong with that.
Apparently, that is not a man thing to do.
You are comfortable in what you like.
Apparently that's just not a man thing to do.
Well, men are stupid.
Men are stupid.
God, guys are the worst.
Aren't they? Don't tell me about it, girl. Oh my God.
Okay, I hate myself even for doing that for that long.
Okay, all right. We've milked that a little.
Oh my God.
It's okay. It's all right. Makes for good audio.
Sound clip.
But yeah, we definitely had great Disney bonding moments, and I'm sure like the 4 fun cosplay moments are going to be Disney ones.
Yeah.
Like I've done one, like you were there by proxy because you made the costume, but when I wore Powerline out to an actual dance club, I wore like Powerline from a Goofy movie for those who are old like us and remember that little gem of a movie.
Oh, so good.
It is really good. Powerline's like this amalgamation of Prince and Michael Jackson.
Yep.
He like looked like Prince but danced like Michael Jackson, and he was the rock star that Goofy's son is obsessed with, and the whole build up is to them going to the concert at the end. And so I wanted this costume made to be my Halloween costume. I didn't really get to wear it out on Halloween just because I just moved. And I wasn't able to make plans.
Yeah.
I did wear it out about a month later. I wore it to an actual real nightlife downtown Toronto dance club. It was a costume thing. It was they called it their mask event, and then cosplay people turned it into a chance to dress up.
Yeah.
And it led to one of my convention friends, Miss Emily B. Cosplay, for those who want to look her up. She does amazing makeup work.
Yeah,
like
she's great.
crazy
I've seen her stuff.
Yeah, okay. So she's a convention friend basically, and I didn't know she was here. She was on the lower floor, like dancing with her friend.
Yeah.
And she looks up at the balcony and she knows, like, oh, that's where all the people are. I see costumes. And she sees really high hair.
Not high enough.
She sees the giant pompadour. And this literally made her have to go up there.
What?
She's like, I got to see who the guy with the pompadour is. She gets up to there and goes, oh my God, it's you and your Powerline.
Yes, that's fantastic.
That made it all worth it. It was
oh
my God, it's you, Josh. Like I had to see who the guy with the giant pompadour was.
I was just sad I couldn't make that hair go higher.
Oh, it was
needed to go higher.
And like I was like seriously like before I wore that costume out, I watched that end scene to see if I could memorize any of the dance moves.
Did you?
They were a little hard because it keeps breaking away from it. You don't see like how the audience. You don't see how the choreography flows into itself.
Yeah.
So it was a little hard to get all of it down, but you know.
It was just like those classic 90s moves like
yes.
You know.
The hand
you can't see what I'm doing.
The wavy hands in front of the face and a lot of like half pop and lock. It's like loose pop and lock.
Loose pops, a lot of like hip thrusts and things.
Yes. But see, I just love the part that like you knew Powerline was a smooth operator because part of that dance was he like spins two like hot backup dancer girls like into him to start it.
Oh yeah.
And spins them back out again.
And then you get older and you realize like these are all dogs and it's kind of weird.
It was a little.
But
weird.
then you forget about it and you enjoy it.
Yeah, we suspend reality.
These are my dog bitches.
But
like, these are my bitches. See what I did? Anyways.
Like those movies. And it still doesn't explain like why Pluto is a pet but Goofy isn't.
Right? Mysteries of life.
The age-old question that we as old nerds have to ask now.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
Like even if Pluto could talk and be a quadruped, but no.
No.
It's weird.
Yeah, but like, Disney, good stuff. I'm obsessed with getting all the old Disney movies on DVD.
How old?
Sword in the Stone old.
Oh, yeah. I want to do Madame Mim. That would be a great cosplay.
Okay, all right. So
if I did Madame Mim, would you do Merlin?
See, Merlin is good, but if I was gonna be Merlin, I'd have to wear his Back from Bermuda outfit.
Yes.
Like his robes are fine, but they are kind of plain. So I would love to be his. He like skids in at the end. He's like in a Hawaiian shirt with like loot bags and.
Oh my god, that'd be brilliant.
I thought like if that would be my Sword in the Stone outfit. Other than that, I always thought Wart's like Squire outfit was cute. The big red robes.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was cute. But I've been having this thing where like I find myself singing the prologue song to Sword in the Stone. I'll just be walking and go.
Just 'cause.
The legend is sung of when England was young.
See, some of the old ones, I feel like I'm betraying my own kind. But like some of the old movies, I'm not such a huge fan of. I don't like Snow White, which I know is like the pinnacle of whatever. But
I don't think Snow White's very exciting. It's really like it's a lot of like glory shots framed around like a couple of songs.
Yeah.
But that was also very early Disney.
Well, it's first Disney.
Yeah, that was like the first one they colorized, right?
That was the first feature.
Yeah,
feature
okay.
length.
Okay. And that's like, they weren't really sure how to fill the time, I guess. So you can give them a break there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But like even Sleeping Beauty, the drunk scene's funny, but besides that, I'm like, whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I'm such a Renaissance Disney kid. I can't help it.
Or as I've become the old man who goes, cell shading was so much better. You guys, kids with your Pixar, it's just not the same.
And your 3D.
Yeah.
I do. Like when they brought back Princess and the Frog, I was so excited.
Oh yeah.
'Cause I'm like 2D animation.
Well, the Pixar movies are good. Like don't get me wrong. I'm not. Inside Out made me cry. So.
Oh my god, I'm gonna go see it sometime this week.
It's like this is almost a pun to say it, but it is the feels.
All of the feels.
It's all of the feels.
Badooch.
It's all of the feels about all of the feels. It's no, it was. I went to the drive-in and saw it, and I saw the second Avengers.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. It was 2 hours of fight scenes, but I enjoyed it.
You know what? Weirdly, I usually don't like that. Like, I fell asleep during Transformers. Like, anything that's over action, I usually don't like. But they managed to put enough story in it that I actually didn't mind it.
I literally, I think when they were making that movie, it was like I think Joss Whedon, had a little bit of Michael Bay syndrome where he got really obsessed with his action scenes and oh, right, I did plan a story. Can't cut that. Work 2.5 hours. All right, just very important stuff.
See, how I picture it, because I'm so used to Joss Whedon being so dialogue heavy, is I picture him writing this entire beautiful script and then being in the editing room and walking out of the room for 10 minutes and the editor being like, okay, I'm going to put another car crash in here. And Joss was like, did you put in the conversation? He's like, yeah, got it. Got it.
You think there's shady dealings with an editor with something to prove?
It was just I'm sure he was getting the money for the car crashes, but it's so not a Joss thing to be let's just explode things.
What I think I'm going to give, and see, then I really think at this point, because that's an interconnected universe of movies, you didn't really have to explain a lot, and maybe that's why they did 2 hours of action. What are we going to do? Explain everybody's origins? They've all had 3 movies apiece.
That's true.
So
what else can they say?
Yeah, so otherwise you'd be making up a new story which would be fine. But I think with the villain, because the villain was like introduced and they kind of like established very clearly what he was going to do.
Yeah.
Like, because he was a completely new existence. There was no backstory for him.
Yeah.
I think that was, I'll give it some credit, but like at the same time, I'm like, I could have done with a little more story. But at the same time, like, I'm going to watch it again. That was fun to watch. And they had banter in all the right places to keep me there.
Well, now they're concentrating more on the second wave of heroes. So I feel like Avengers are kind of just thrown to the wayside until Civil War happens. And then they're going to bring in all of like the Ant-Man.
Well, and I do.
Ant-Man, I'm so excited.
That's one you like?
I like Paul Rudd.
Ah,
like Paul Rudd as Ant-Man.
Okay. I dig it. That is why, like, I'm probably not going to go see Terminator Genesis because they told the whole movie in the trailer. But it was also like, Emilia Clarke is Sarah Connor.
I can't. I hate being that person that only sees an actor as one person.
You only see Linda.
No, I only see Daenerys trying to kill people.
Oh, really?
I saw her face and I was like, nope, can't watch this movie.
Oh.
I'm going to be like, where are your dragons?
And your pretty dresses. What's with the torn tanks? This is bullshit.
Free the slaves. I can't. And also, Linda was the original.
Okay.
Like, you can't. That scene where she's in her freaking room and she's doing the pull-ups, like, I'm sorry, nobody can beat her up.
No, the one that always stuck with me is cocks a shotgun one-handed.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh.
That I gotta say, Terminator 2 was the one movie where I was like, this is a sequel that absolutely needed to happen, and I think that's the only time I've ever said that.
And to get super movie nerdy here is, I fundamentally, like, although I like saw the trailer for Terminator Genesis and said, oh cool, like they're admitting they fucked up their own timeline, so let's just like go to town with this. The fact that they made Terminator 3 and like said it was like right after 2, I said, How? You tied that up in the neatest bow. Like, you closed the time loop completely.
Yeah.
There was no way for Skynet to happen. You destroyed the chip, the arm, the Terminator that had come back from the future, so there was no parts left, and the guy who was going to do it died.
Yeah, there was no... Like, none of it made sense.
Yeah.
They imploded the universe.
Yep.
It was stupid.
Yep. So... Oh, man. Again, I just can't get over, like, you had nowhere to go and you somehow just made a third movie.
Because money.
Because money.
Because money.
Because money.
Yeah, that's one I won't be seeing.
No, and I said, like, I was excited when I saw it, like, oh man, Emilia Clarke's playing Sarah Connor, because that was like a cool kick-ass character, and she plays a cool kick-ass woman in her show. And although I'm sad to say I'm done with Game of Thrones now.
You're done?
I'm not doing the show anymore.
Because of the thing we're not going to talk about?
Because they've completely skewed off the books, and I don't like how they're going.
I know. But you know the whole thing with George R. R. Martin, where...
He's not writing on the show anymore, and that's why it's gone the way it has.
Yeah, but they've had to put approvals through him. Like, anything that's... Any major plot points that are going to happen in the show is him going, yes, this is eventually going to happen in the books, and the ending has to be the same. So, I mean, it has his approval. It's just not the same.
No, I think what's happened now is he's become so focused on the next book now that I think he, like, has given up on them. So it's like, I think he's in a moment of complacency about the show because he's focused on the book. That's what I get the feeling of. And you know what? He's writing the next book, and that's when that comes out, I'm going to read the shit out of it and get my head right about the Game of Thrones universe. As for the show, some of their choices were, yes, they were basically things that did happen in the book. They just happened to different characters. And
they compacted characters.
They've compacted characters, but also now I think they're writing the show based entirely on what they think the fans want. Like the way they've accelerated plot lines that were sort of heading that way in the books, but they've accelerated them to make like these character groupings that they think the fans are going to like.
Or to keep a certain character in the show.
Yes.
AKA Tyrion, who realistically shouldn't have shown up for some time.
Yes.
Should have disappeared off the face of the earth for a while.
Yes. And the fact that it, like, they completely skipped a subplot of his that was, like, quite poignant when you read it.
Yeah.
To make it so that it was like, oh, he's in with, like, the main characters again.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah. So,
I feel like this is, like, too soon in. I don't want to say too much.
And also the way that they've killed off characters who aren't dead in the books to create drama.
Yeah.
But that means that you don't have that character available for a plot point that's crucial later.
Yeah, I know.
So I've been saying they wrote themselves into the corner.
Well, that means they're going to have to, come up with a new character or transfer it over to another character where they were never supposed to be there in the first place.
So I said, sad to say it, I've lost my confidence and interest in the show.
That's fair.
But, you people who are only show viewers, like you're not like, I've read the book, elitist guys like me. It's like, if you just enjoy that show and it's your show, good news for you is book people can't spoil you anymore because they're not going from the books anymore.
And I was so good. I didn't say a damn thing to people watching the show. And that's so the difference between people that read books versus watching TV shows.
Whereas the reason I enjoyed the show is because it was a hard adaptation of the books. And people can say, like, well, why wouldn't you do that? And then I said, well, did you enjoy Harry Potter? Yeah, it was 95% direct from the books.
Yeah.
That's why it's good. Because you've just adapted the source material for the screen. It's not... Game of Thrones truly has become a based on the works, not an adaptation of.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I actually started rereading the series again. Like, I'm on Storm of Swords again. Just because the show got into such a point where I'm like, I need to remember what was actually happening here. Because I'm losing track of what characters are supposed to be doing right now.
Yeah. So, like I said, sad to say, but I'm done with watching that show. I think, I've heard good things about a show called Outlander. That apparently is kind of like that also... I think it's a Showtime, or it's done by Stars or something, so it's very, very adult, but it's also like another fantasy show.
Okay.
And I've had like shows like that were completely original properties that have surprised me, and I've heard things about that. So if I need the fantasy show fix again, I think that's where I'm gonna go.
Yeah, because what else is really out there like that right now? Like the Game of Thrones. I was thinking of picking up Vikings, but I don't know if it's any good.
See, my thing with Vikings right away is like, yeah.
Just wrong.
I will. My like history nerd brain kicked in a little. Not even like I know exact facts that are wrong. Is like, I'm sorry, I don't see the 5'5" completely hairless guy as being a Viking, because like aren't Norsemen supposed to be like 8 foot and hairy?
Yeah.
You've dressed pretty boys as Vikings.
See, that's disappointing.
That's what all I could see when I see that show. And is also like the fact that they're like, I've gathered just from what I've seen, and so like I'm not making an educated thing when I say this, but it seems like they're really making it political when Vikings weren't political.
They're making it political.
It's like a lot about what I've just gathered, was like, we're going to go conquer England and stuff like that.
Which, I mean, they did, but more in a rapey and pillagey sort of way.
Yes, like, let's take it to say we take all their gold and leave.
Yeah.
So that's why I couldn't get into that show.
Okay. I'll steer clear then, because my brain works like your brain, though.
This is coming from someone who has not sat down to watch a full episode, mind you. This is just from the snippets I've gathered. I'm not making an educated view on this.
I'm just as judgy as you are, though, when it comes to stuff like that, because, like, I'm the one that's like, that costume is not from that time period. I can't watch this anymore. Yeah. I am that person.
Yes. But, okay. Oh, how long have we been going here? Oh, wow. We're like on almost
a million hours.
We're on like an hour 20. I knew this was going to happen to you, though.
Aw.
It's good chat. But I said I did want to come back to the story of, and I guess the story of me singing Hercules in Koreatown is when you decided you like me. The time that I decided that I said I fell in love with you was at a DTAC. I think one of the first ones I went to, and we wanted a group, but we didn't have time to make really good costumes, and so Final Fantasy Crisis Core had come out.
Crisis Core!
And we all decided, like, hey, if we all get suits and the appropriate wigs, we can be a Turks group.
Yes.
And you were Cisne.
I was.
And the moment I decided that I was in love with you was you dressed as Cisne, which you looked adorable. You were you were that redheaded then. Like that was the hair color you had.
That was my summer hair.
That was your summer hair. And you decided that, Cisna, who is the cute girl amongst the group, is like, well, she would totally play it up. So you started pinup posing everywhere.
I still have some of those pictures.
Thing? So you started like wearing a full 3-piece suit, started doing pinup poses, and said like, this would be the picture they'd be hanging in the locker.
This is August in the Turk calendar.
This is August in the Turk calendar. Yeah, you were Miss August.
I was Miss August.
And that was the moment I decided like, I want 5 of her. and then I was
so cute.
I know. And I said, and it was this weird thing where I only ever saw you at conventions.
Yeah, I know.
I only saw you at conventions, so I think subconsciously I just equated you with fun times.
Yay!
Like I saw you when I was on vacation.
Yeah.
So that means like whenever I saw you, I was having fun. And then, more recently as we saw each other off convention times, I just realized you were awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Oh, right back at you.
Right back at you, man. So that was when I fell in love with Helsey story.
Aw, I love it.
When you decided to do, and it was the juxtaposition of you were not wearing something sexy.
No, not in the least.
But you decided to do the sexy.
It was
poses.
a full suit.
Yes. There's a photo shoot concept there, I think.
I think we should make it happen.
Yeah. I've got like a billion photo shoots to do with you because you're like getting into making your costumes again. And
I know. We need to set some stuff up.
Yeah. Well, we definitely got to do stuff with the Kanas because that has like theme possibilities like you wouldn't believe. We basically just need a bar that will like let us be in there really early.
We're just gonna break into bars and get pictures of me drinking. That's about what. So like, just call me on a Thursday and like.
All right.
Because that's when I drink.
Oh, so good. So good. Alrighty. So I think that's where we're going to wrap it up. Otherwise, we're going to be talking all night. So.
All night, I know.
I know. And it's just because I love you.
Love you.
All right. So, that was good. That was just an hour and 20 minutes of nerd rambling, which is my favorite thing in the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
And this will like, I enjoy like playing these back to myself when I'm like, I haven't seen a friend in a while. They're like, well, at least I got audio of them that I can listen to, right?
Aw.
So, how about we'll just wrap it up with kind of what's going on with you? You're pretty busy in your personal life, I know, but are you going to be making it out to some conventions and stuff soon?
Yeah, I'm debating Con Bravo right now, which is in Hamilton, which is great.
It's super close, yeah.
It's across the street from me.
Yep.
So, I think I'm going to hit up that one just to, get my little taste on. And then I'm definitely going to Fan Expo.
Yeah, as you always do.
As I always do.
Yep.
I'm kind of looking at what else is out there. I know I can't go to Montreal with you, which makes me sad.
We tried to get like a huge group on that, and it seems like there's only like really 2 of us following through.
Yeah.
Well, other friends who are like there because they're vendors.
Well, yeah. No, so those are my conventions. I think besides that, I'm just gonna try to get the Facebook page going and just try to, do the Prince thing and get some costumes in the closet that are just ready to go for whenever I need them.
Is that the Prince thing? What, you're just going to buy Prince, or?
No, the Prince thing where I'm going to make things ahead of time.
Ah.
That whole metaphor you did like 20 minutes ago.
I don't remember my own name now. I was distracted by shiny things.
Squirrel.
But yeah, so it'll be good to see you. It's good to you're planning new cosplays, and the fact that they're ones I love. Like, I'm more excited than you.
You are.
Clearly.
It's kind of funny.
Well, it comes from this weird thing of like, I am very male in my features, but I couldn't be a good cross player. So I'm jealous of the outfits you get to wear, and I feel like if you make them, that's me wearing them by proxy.
You're just projecting
Yes.
onto whatever I happen to be wearing.
Like even if I had the confidence and bravado to just go, I'm gonna crossplay, I don't really have the frame for it. It would look weird, I think, no matter how I did it. So if my lovely lady friends get to wear their lovely lady outfits, I feel like if I can take pictures of it or something, or just see it. I feel like I was involved, even though I didn't like sew a single thing on it or anything.
You're doing my photo shoots, hon.
Yeah, that'll be my contribution.
That'll be good.
That was my contribution.
Yeah.
All right. So, again, I'm super excited for that. You guys keep an eye out for that because as she makes more stuff, I'm going to make sure she's a presence on the site because this is kind of a friends and family thing, even though everybody who listens and comments and all that, you're friends and family by proxy and part of this wonderful community we have. But these are my direct friends, so sorry, they do get preferential treatment. Yeah. It's a premium club. You really just got to put in the time.
Yeah.
And then like you start getting like ridiculous birthday presents from me. That's happened to a few people. You can talk to a couple people I know who have like half of their cabinet of figures is like from me at birthday and Christmas time. Just like, Josh, do you ever spend money on yourself? No.
What does that mean?
No, I don't. I mean, like even all this equipment is like so I can just go talk to other people.
You're such a giver.
I try. But yes, so definitely keep an eye out. You'll be seeing Jen a lot. Helsey Cosplay.
Yep.
Is that have you called dibs on that page yet? Have you like actually?
I haven't created it, but actually I'm going to be doing it in the next couple days, I think.
Cool. And then I'll be sure to link it out and
awesome.
everything.
Thank you.
You're basically like you're a part of this whether you want to or not. You'll just be around so much. It'll just be such a regular. So keep an eye out for her.
Love it.
She's awesome. And you guys can always go to otakukrypt.com to see all of our stuff, including this podcast, which I've been pretty good with, like getting them out. I have one every week. It feels like finally, which was always the goal. But like, when did I get my shit together? I don't know.
I love it.
I don't know. And of course, we're working on all of our new shows. You've got Undead Do's Loot Crates every Monday. She's got like 3 subscription services that she's partnered with and has brought over to our channel. She's doing Comic Boxer for actual like comic books. It includes like really cool like variant covers and stuff like that. She's partnered with one called Level 42 that's actually like cosplay promotion. They like gather cosplayers who like do the prints but kind of create a sampling of them and send them out monthly. Nice. Like you don't know who you're getting, but you get cute little stickers and stuff like that. And so she's doing unboxing videos and those are fun to watch. She is just like, being the very knowledgeable nerd girl that she is, and then me through my editing choices making jokes about things she says. There's a lot of like the last one was a lot of like thought bubbles, like comic bubbles, and then like I put words in her mouth. She found it funny, God bless her. Like I was waiting for her to come back and like, you made me look like an idiot. She loved it. God bless you, do. I love you so much. And of course, as I keep saying, the Anime Review Show. Hopefully, by the time you hear this podcast, the first new episode of the Anime Review Show, which is now Anime Review Show Chaos Theory, because it's all about randomness. It's going to be a different host every time. We literally go into Crunchyroll, hit the random watch button, and we have to review the first thing that we watched.
I love that.
Hopefully, by the time you're listening to this, you'll have seen the first one, which is of a kid's cartoon that came up called Butt Biting Bugs or Bottom Biting Bugs. That is like 5-minute shorts that are super hyperactive about these type of bugs that if they bite you on the ass, it changes like your mood and personality. It was all kinds of crack. So if that isn't up right now, you basically just got the short version of it. Helsey is almost on the floor. I need
to watch that.
Oh, it's these 5-minute shorts, and it's not like really anime. It's like a Japanese kids cartoon. Yeah. So that one is up, and so keep an eye out for that. That's hopefully going to be the Wednesday thing. And Friday nights will be game nights with Tom and Mike on the gamepad. They'll be doing lots of cool Japanese horror games and hopefully some silly ones too. I think I'm just going to go to bargain bins and dump anything that looks remotely Japanese on them and make them review it. I think that's what I'm going to do to them.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do to them. But they've got cool horror games. Apparently some scared Tom, and he likes horror and isn't easy to scare. So nice. That'll be fun to watch. So again, all that stuff can be found on otakukrypt.com, and all of our social media is we're otakukrypt on everything. Thank you, LSD, for having the long chat with me.
Thank you, lovely. I had fun.
I always take over your apartment when I come over.
That's what it's here for.
Okay, cool. All right. So I'm Joshy T. We'll see you next time. See you, Space Cowboys.
Bye.